Phoenix, Arizona, December 29th, 2019. I will be referring to the young woman in this video as Layla. Layla is from the San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation. When Layla was 2 months old, she started to suffer from horrible seizures that had put her into a vegetative state by the time she was 3. She was then placed in the Hacienda healthcare facility. Layla is intellectually disabled and nonverbal. Layla can feel pain by the looks and expressions on her face. You will know she's in some type of discomfort. When she's in extreme pain, she may even make vocal sounds. She can move her head a little bit, along with her neck and her limbs. Her mobility is limited. Sometimes when she's hooked up to a ventilator machine, she will thrash her arms about. She has been in there basically all of her life. Funds come in from a nonprofit organization to make sure she is kept there. In 2019, Layla was 29 years old. Now, I believe I might have seen a picture of Layla about 2 years ago. And if in fact it was this woman, she was very attractive. By looking at her, you wouldn't think that she was nonverbal and not really able to communicate with you just by looking at her. Physically, she looked 100% like she was well. Nathan Sutherland, let me give you a little background on him. Nathan Sutherland and his sister, they are from Haiti. They were adopted by American parents who followed the Christian beliefs. The parents did not want them to listen to rap music, but they snuck and they did it anyway. They actually would incorporate the gospel music with the rap music. And even though I don't listen to any kind of gospel, I must say that their sounded pretty good. I actually wish he would have went that route and stuck to that. Their group was a Christian rap group called Sleepless Soul Jazz, SLS. And again, it did sound pretty good. Layla's main nurse was Nathan Sutherland. He was 36 years old at the time that all this was going on. He was married with 4 children. He had cared for Layla from 2012 to 2018. Hundreds of times he attended to this woman. Now, in 2019, his co-workers had noticed a change in Sutherland. He was extremely stressing, but at this time he was going through a divorce, so they figured it was related to that. Now, keep in mind, Layla does not do anything for herself. She can't. She has full-time, around-the-clock care. Faculty staff would treat her to a medicine for constipation, and they would also give her a less calorie intake because Layla had begun to put on a lot of weight. A female nurse was in the middle of tending to Layla when she saw a head in Layla's briefs. That's actually how the article was worded. The nurse saw a head in Layla's brief. Layla was making faces and noises. She was moaning and groaning. Layla was given birth. On December 29th, 2019, Layla would give birth to a baby boy. The infant had to be resuscitated, some chest compressions, but he did live. None of these people knew that Layla was even pregnant. So Layla had been given all her medicines. Of course, some medicines women are not supposed to even take when they're pregnant, and Layla was given some strong type of medicine. So they're hoping that this child doesn't have developmental problems when he gets older. Now, I did look up some things about the boy, and I looked it up April of 2021, and the family says that the little boy is coming along pretty well. So hopefully that it will continue to be like that for him, because Layla, remember, she had no prenatal care at all. Now, all the males in the hacienda had to give a DNA test to find out who had fathered this child. I believe there was about 29 men that had worked at this facility at the time. On January 22nd, 2019, the DNA results were back, and it would match to Sutherland. On that very day, Nathan Sutherland was arrested, and he would voluntarily give up his nursing license. They also are saying the Hacienda Hospital had about 39 patients at the time, and maggots were found on one of the male patients. A physician had resigned, another physician was suspended, and other very important faculty members had quit, and their license had been taken away, and they would close down. In May, they would reopen again, so they regain their license back. The hacienda is back open. Now, in 2002, Layla's family requested a female nurse for their daughter. They believed she was being touched inappropriately. The nurse was never assigned. Now, I don't know what made the parents feel like their daughter was being touched inappropriate. I tried to research it a little, but I couldn't find anything right away. But they felt this way, and they had their right to ask for just female staff to tend to their daughter, but that's not what they would receive. Now, this is the tricky and funny part. You know, you're supposed to say allegedly, but you'll understand what I'm saying. Now, Sutherland had pled not guilty to this, and I don't understand how, when you have a whole entire son out there, but he did plead not guilty. So I don't understand the point in saying allegedly when his DNA matches the child that Layla had gave birth to, and Layla is in no shape to agree to consent to have sexual intercourse with anybody. They are saying Layla had been repeatedly raped over a number of years. She suffered vaginal and anal sex. She also has a gaping of the perineum, and that's that little area between your genital and right above your behind. That little area right there is the perineal, and hers was gaping. So she was being brutally raped for something like that to occur. And it doesn't just happen from one time. It had to be multiple times of sexual contact with somebody. They also say that this may not have been the first time that she conceived. So the scary part is, did she have a miscarriage, or did the baby come full term, and where is the child? But they're saying that she might have gave birth before in some articles I've read. And of course, in others, they dispute it, saying we may not know if she had given birth before. Layla's family would sue the hacienda for $45 million for gross negligence. The family would then settle for $25 million. Both her parents receive $10 million each. I guess, now I'm just speculating, the other 5 may have went to continue Layla's care and for the lawyers, I'm imagining. Now, as of February 2021, he had still pled not guilty. Now, the lawyer is actually saying that there wasn't any warrant given to even take Sutherland's DNA. So they actually want that part thrown out of the trial. So basically, I guess they will proceed the trial saying that he just raped Layla, and we're going to pretend that there's not a growing child out there that may resemble him. I mean, I don't know where they're going with this, but it's going to be interesting to find out. Now, to my knowledge, the divorce has been through, and the woman that was married to Nathan Sutherland is no longer with him. I'm just guessing. I don't really know, but they were going through a divorce, so I'm thinking maybe it's finally over. And I'm also, this is just my little input. They got a good sum of money. I would take my daughter out of that hospital and she can get her 25 hours of care. I know it's 24 hours in a day, but she can get 25 hours of care at home. I've even seen people with way less money than that, and they care for their people at home. Trust me, I know. I was the one caring for them. So this is why I could not leave my daughter in there. And if the son has some developmental problems, they have enough money to make sure he gets care as well. Hopefully that's what they're doing. I don't really know where this woman is right now, but hopefully that is the circumstances. If anybody should have gotten any money out of that, the parents probably should have been broken off a little bit, but Layla should make sure her care will be there for the rest of her life. And also that son should have a trust to where when he gets older, he can make sure he has money, because he is a crime victim as well. He is the product of rape. I will be following this story, and I hope that he gets the time that he needs, because that was horrible. They also don't even know if other female patients in that clinic could have been subjected to his advances as well. But they hadn't stated anything about that. They just kind of touched on it. So there you go. Thank you.